Welcome everyone to CareerCon 2020. It's the second session today, and we are proud to announce that it is India's first international career webinar. Uh, this is being organized by Click to School, which is an AI-based learning and testing platform in association with School Toppers Mumbai and Vimana, USA. We have with us as speakers today Dr. Rajkumar S. Pant, who is a professor of aerospace engineering at IIT Bombay. We have Dr. T.N. Singh, Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth. We have Mr. Rajesh Kumar, who is an engineering manager at Google Clouds in San Francisco. We have Sandeep Verma, who is head of technical services at Thies Mining Services. And we have Akhil Tiwari, who is the director of School Toppers in Mumbai. This career conference is the result of years of pondering and quest to fill the widening gaps between the perception and reality in the rapidly evolving career sphere. Many organizations and companies have surfaced recently who take advantage of parents' dedication and commitment to provide quality education to their kids. They kind of exploit the prevalent ignorance and lack of quality guidance because of our modern lifestyle, which has made us busier than ever. CareerCon is our earnest endeavor to expose the darkening attitude towards education to light. The light will come from the experience and guidance of world class educationalists and professionals. CareerCon is a platform through which we aim to connect you to such people who have impacted and improved education and research in the world and who can show you what it takes to be successful in the modern world. So, our first speaker today is Dr. Rajkumar S. Pant, who is a professor of aerospace engineering at IIT Bombay. He is a winner of several awards and accolades in aircraft design, including DP Joshi Excellent Teacher Award 2015 at IIT Bombay. And he had been visiting faculty to several national and international universities. Um, he has authored numerous papers on aircraft design. So you can see that he is a very experienced person to guide you on the topic of how to make a good career and what qualities you need to succeed in life. So now I will hand over control to Dr. Rajkumar S. Pant. Sir, you are here now.
Yeah, you have to allow me to share my screen. Right now it is disabled.
Okay. So, sir, I have made you co-host. You can probably share now.
That's right, I can.
Okay.
All right, okay. So a very good morning to everyone. And I would like to take this opportunity to first thank CareerCon. And I welcome all of you to today's session. So I'm here to essentially share with you some information and also some views about career paths in aviation, a subject in which I have been working for 35 years. 5 years as an engineer in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, around 30 years, more than 30 years in IIT Bombay as a member of faculty. And before that, I have done 3 degrees in aerospace engineering, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a PhD degree. So all in all, my career has always been in the field of aerospace engineering and aviation. And I'm here to try and inspire and motivate you to follow a similar path. I have mentioned my email address here, so you can note it down so that in case you want to reach out to me, in case you want to clarify some doubts, I would be very happy to do it. A large number of students write to me emails to seek guidance, and I try my best to reply to them within a few days, if not on the same day. And I take a lot of pride and happiness in being able to guide and supervise students. As was mentioned very rightly, that there are a large number of unscrupulous elements in the field of education. who have opened so many institutions, so many colleges. They have uh, actually their aim is to fleece money from you. I know so many institutes, and I've managed to locate them and warn other people about them. But it is very difficult for me to, it's very difficult for me to talk about all that here in the limited time available. So today I'll talk to you only about the field of aviation and what career paths you have. So friends, flying is the second greatest thrill that is known to man, and the first greatest thrill being landing, because all of us definitely want to safely land after we take off. And that is the reason why the field of aerospace engineering is very, very exciting and challenging. I always say that taking off or flying is not the real challenge. The real challenge is to be able to land safely each and every time. And if you look at the statistics of accidents for all transportation systems, you will see that aviation is the safest mode of transportation. By simple calculation, you are prone 9 times more to die in an accident on a two-wheeler, 4 times more to die in an accident on a three or four-wheeler, and at least 3 times more to lose your life in a vehicle with more than large vehicles like buses, etc. The rate of accidents which lead to fatalities in aviation is very, very minuscule, and we are maintaining that standard of safety, because of which the whole field is highly regulated. One common question that many students have is that there are two words, there is aerospace, there is aeronautical, and then there is aviation. Okay, so uh, what I would suggest we can do is that we can simply open up now the floor. There's no need to keep the chat meeting room now, because people are joining in and that is causing a lot of interference. So two words which are very commonly misunderstood are what is meant by aviation and what is meant by aerospace. So aviation is an industry that allows aircraft to operate, and aerospace is the field of science or technology and engineering that allows aviation to take place safely and economically. One is ability, that is allowing it to happen by designing, building, testing, and producing aircraft. But then those aircraft have to be maintained. There are regulatory issues regarding licenses, regarding who will operate them, who will maintain them. So all that area, they are intertwined, but aerospace is something that is a technology enabler to allow aviation to take place. I want to start by talking about some projections for the Indian civil aviation market, which has been published very recently by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, or MOCA as we call it. Uh, the Indian aviation market is the fastest aviation market in the world, which has a 20% year-on-year growth. These growth projections have been hampered because of COVID-19, but that's okay. We can still handle that. And interestingly, there is a very strong prediction that despite the problem in aviation due to COVID-19, we are expected to bounce back to the 2019 levels of traffic in another 2.5, 3 years' time. The second important point I want to talk is that the recent initiative by the government called as the Udan scheme, you must have heard about it, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, or Udan scheme. In 16 months of Udan scheme, we have managed to activate 56 airports and 31 heliports. And this budget by the government plans to have 100 more airports in the next year. So just imagine, there are going to be 100 more airports in the next 5 years. Just visualize the kind of potential that will open up in the activity and in the aviation sector, resulting in jobs and openings. The fleet strength of the aircraft in India is around 650 aircraft of scheduled Indian carriers, and there are many, many more. By scheduled carriers, we mean airlines in the common man's language. And we are planning to buy around 900 aircraft more in the next 5 years. So the fleet that we have today is not only going to be doubled, but doubled and a half in 5 years' time. The time by which many of these students who are currently, I believe, in 8th to 10th standard, okay, by the time you are going to enter the market, or by the time you are about to finish your education, by that time you will see that the fleet strength is going to increase much more. Also, despite the COVID-19 effect on aviation, the cargo traffic has really grown much. We are recording an year-on-year, cumulative average growth rate from 2014, a record 10%, and it is just going to increase. Even during COVID-19 also, the cargo industry was not affected. In fact, it received a boom. So we are sitting at the cusp of growth in the Indian aviation market. How does this scale up into manpower projection in the next 5 years? In the year 2020, there was a projection that the manpower would be around 4 lakh, and this is the direct jobs which are like pilots, like air traffic controllers, or like the cabin crew, the maintenance engineers who actually work on the aircraft. However, there are a lot of indirect jobs that get created because of the growth in aviation. For example, all the taxi drivers who are operating their Ola, Uber and other vehicles that go to the airport, they are able to get their business essentially because people land and take off, and therefore they need to either go home or reach the airport in time for their flight. So there are many hotels, there are many restaurants, there are many other industries which get benefited. Aviation is a largest employer, and it also supports directly the transportation and the tourism sector. So for every one direct job, there are approximately 4 or 5 indirect jobs which get created due to the growth in aviation. And now this number, interestingly, is going to increase from 4 lakhs to 10 lakhs and from 16 lakhs to 30 lakhs in the next 5 years. So this will be the demand that is expected. And this demand was predicted around 5 years ago. Of course, there is a dip because of COVID, and we will have a look at that now. So you know that COVID-19 has impacted almost every industry and every business. So many businesses have closed down. So many of them have gone into hibernation. So many of them have taken a massive cut. So there has been very low or no impact in healthcare and pharmaceuticals. Also, as the current budget revealed, agricultural production and agricultural market has actually shown a growth this year. Okay. Financial services, automobile and auto components, they are hurt, but not that much. Some people say that the automobile industry is very badly hit, but people are still buying vehicles and people are still going, to spend money towards maintenance and operations. IT and telecom, textile and apparel and consumer durables have been hurt, and so is construction. Almost all the activity of construction has stopped. But 2 major areas, transport, logistics, and aviation, tourism and hospitality, are the worst hit. So our industry is the worst hit with COVID-19. However, having said that, I would like to say that aviation and airlines, although they are impacted the highest among all industry sectors, to the best of my estimate, around 20 lakh jobs have been lost in the aviation sector in the last around 8 to 9 months since the problem started and the airlines began to downgrade. But it is picking up a lot. And I can tell you by my personal example, I was traveling to Lucknow from Mumbai about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, And to my utter surprise, not a single seat was vacant in the aircraft. I was sitting in the middle seat with the PPE kit given to me by the airline. And I was under the assumption that, oh, because of COVID 19, I will get a comfortable seat somewhere back. But no, my friends, all the seats were occupied. So, aviation is going to bounce back very quickly. And also, there, has, there are new opportunities and technologies for growth in this sector actually because of COVID 19. So, you will be surprised to know that COVID 19 has actually created newer markets and newer industries for the aviation sector. So let us have a look. What is the what are the things? Okay. First of all, there is an increased use of automation because now people want to go for paperless and contactless travel. So the biometric industry and the facial scan industry has taken a fantastic boom. There are new emerging job roles. Okay, I'll not go for all these details. These are a little bit tough words for I think the young students. But in the end, I can always answer any questions if anybody has. But newer and newer job roles are emerging. Air cargo. So many airlines are getting their aircraft converted from passenger to freight. That is called as P2F conversion. And some of them are using combination aircraft. So half the aircraft has got passengers and the remaining half or a portion of it is going to carry cargo. That is also happening because of the growth in the air cargo industry. And there is going to be a massive demand of roles in airport designers, revenue management analysts, network planning analysts, air traffic controllers, pilots, maintenance engineers, operators, ticketing staff, baggage handling staff. I mean, there are large number of jobs which are going to really grow up because of the new opportunities and technologies. Let's have a look at an example of how air travel has changed in the country, in our country, because of COVID 19. Some of you who might have had the experience of doing an air travel before COVID 19, they know that you have to do things in many sequentially ways. Now look at the new way of traveling, and I'm going to play a video, and I would like to confirm that you are able to see it when I play it. Okay. Can you please confirm? Are you able to see the video?
No,
Yes,
no.
sir.
Okay. Enjoy. This is Bangalore Airport.
I don't see the video. Can anybody see?
No, sir, I can see that opening the data that
Yes,
Microsoft.
sir.
Okay,
There
wait.
is a.
Wait a minute. What I'll do is I'll share the video directly. Rather than doing it through the PPT, I will share it directly. And that way it should work. Okay.
Yeah,
Now
it's
there are
fine
still
now.
people entering, and I would request the organizers to just take care of that because it's coming on
Yes,
my
yes.
screen. Now can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Bangalore Airport. So this was a promotional film made by Bengaluru Airport, showcasing how they are able to manage the complete experience from getting in to getting out without any need for physical contact, which is the requirement during the current situation. Okay. So you can see how things have come to a stage where you really don't need to go for any conventional system. Okay, so now because of COVID-19, we are forced to do all these things. But the positive side is that this is leading to lot of new jobs, lot of new technology, lot of new facilities being available. And for the passenger, it's a safe and almost contactless travel. And the same thing is happening at many airports. As I mentioned to you, I have taken 2 or 3 flights from Mumbai to Lucknow in the last 3 months. And every time I did both ways, it's the same. Okay, so now let's look at one very interesting field which is emerging a lot, and everybody knows that this is what the future is. So drones are the futures of Indian aviation. Why I say that? Because the Indian drone market, UAV stands for unmanned aerial vehicle. The Indian drone market is supposed to grow at a cumulative annual growth rate of 18% in the next 5 years, far more than even the transportation industry. Okay. And the market is huge. Huge means really, really large. These numbers are very mind boggling. Okay. It's a very sad thing that India tops the world in importing drones, despite having such a large population and such a big pool of skilled manpower. We are still importing nearly 1/4 of the world's drones are imported by India. And this is a problem right now, but this is also an opportunity for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And that is, we should be able to make the drones ourselves and import, stop the imports. In fact, we should be able to export. So the opportunity in this area is tremendous. And most of the people, most of the young students who are passing out from my institute and so many other institutes are focusing their energies in this particular sector, because this is where the future lies. This is where everybody is going. For example, the US Air Force has already taken a decision that the last aircraft that they are going to fund for military purposes, which has got a pilot, is already over. The latest product from the US defense sector was F-35 Lightning II, if many of you might know who are interested. F-35. They have already decided that F-35 is the last manned fighter aircraft that they will ever build and design. They have decided that the future will be only drones. Okay, so just imagine what kind of potential we have in drones. In India, we categorize drones in terms of the weight of the aircraft or the all-up weight, and it is done by an agency called as the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, who are responsible for regulating and controlling the civil aviation market in India. As per their guidelines, they have divided it into various categories, right from 250 grams or less nano drone, something which I use for conducting my drone workshops. Those of you who have attended my drone workshops, you will remember that we worked on a nano drone of 250 grams. The larger ones up to 2 kilograms are called as micro drones. Then after 2 kilograms, you have small drones, which are till 25 kilograms. Then we have medium drones up to 150 kilograms. And then we have large drones, which are total weight of 150 kilograms or more. Okay. So this is how currently, and there are different regulations which are applicable to each category, so that we are ensuring that the operation of drones remains safe. Okay. Now, application of drones, I always tell people, are limited by imagination. There are many, many areas in which drones can be used, and some of the areas are listed here. You can use it for agriculture. It's happening in a very big way already in India also. Many of my students have opened a company that works in the area of agricultural sector. energy and utilities, inspection of underwater pipelines, inspection of various sites, infrastructure, that is mapping, surveillance, in mining, media and entertainment, aerial photography, filming, cinematography, and so many insurance related matters. So there are several applications which are being developed, and in all these areas we have a lot of job opportunities. Fire and flight operation and services. So if you learn to work with drones after you enter the field, if you learn now, there is something called as learning drones for fun and learning drones for pleasure or as a hobby, and there is something else when you use it as a profession. So as a profession, you have to have a you can become a drone pilot, you can get a license to apply drones, you can get a facility to manufacture the drones, repair and assemble them, you can design new drones for innovative applications, and many of my students are focusing in this area. They are using their knowledge of engineering to design applications on drones. I also work a lot in drone design, and I can talk to you sometime later about whatever drones we have designed. Not just those playful drones, but real serious drones which can do a lot of work, which can be used by our defense forces for their requirements. And then development and testing of drones. Okay, so there are a lot of job opportunities here. I want to just share with you some recent projects of the government. Coal India, the world's largest coal management company, they used drones last year in November to check illegal mining. They claim that more than 20-30% of the coal is stolen or illegally mined, so they can monitor them using drones. In Rajasthan and UP this year in the June, you must have heard there was a lot of news about locust or tiddi dal, which came from across the border and created a lot of havoc. Many states, Rajasthan and UP are the prime ones. Also in Delhi, they have used drones for anti-locust operations. In many COVID hit areas, drones have been used for surveillance operations to ensure that people stay inside during lockdown, and to ensure that if any team goes for any COVID testing, then they are properly going to various places. Indian Railway is using drones in a very big way, unmanned aerial systems, for inspection and 3D mapping of its entire railway network. And can you believe it? They are going to make a dedicated freight corridor of 3,360 kilometers all over the country. The entire corridor is going to be mapped, and surveillance will be done by using drones. Similarly, there are some projects which are coming up very soon. Indian Oil has said that they will use drones for aerial surveillance of their refineries, of their production areas. Survey of India has launched a huge project for high definition aerial mapping of villages. They want to, just like you have Google Maps, but Google Map has a limited accuracy in areas where there is no population, because there is no commercial interest there. But if I want to identify which is my field from my neighbor's field, for that we have to go for Survey of India, and they only have paper maps right now. They have launched a very ambitious program called Swamitwa scheme for Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Swamitwa stands for Survey of Villages and Mapping with Improvised Technology in Village Areas. That is Swamitwa scheme of the government. And under this scheme, they are going to cover 6.5 lakh villages in India in the next 4 years. They will fly drones over all of them and create their high accuracy digital maps. And then they will be used for bifurcating, or for any, when you want to sell your land, you will be able to get the exact dimensions, exact area of your property and demarcation using the maps which are going to be created. And in Maharashtra, Mahatransco is a company that does transmission of power. They are going to use drones for power line inspections in remote areas. So all in all, I want to say that when everything seems to be going against you, remember that aeroplanes always take off against the wind, not with it. And they also land against the wind, not with it. That is what Henry Ford said. So aviation is a sector where you always fight adversity, you always fight the odds. And there are various courses available at various places. I'll be very happy to take any doubts or any clarification from students and parents. Before I end, I would like to thank Wing Commander Rachit Bhatnagar, who is the senior CEO of the National Skill Development Council, for kindly sharing this presentation with me for today's engagement with the students. Thank you very much for your attention. And now I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Pant. It was a very nice presentation. Uh, I learned a lot from this, and and I, I hope all the students of grade, like all the school students, I think most of the school students, they are very interested in aerospace engineering and aviation. Some of them are interested in rocket science, and they want to know how different is rocket science from aerospace science.
Okay, so there are two major sectors. If you look at, see, I told you about aviation as an industry. Now we are going into aerospace factor. You have aerospace and aeronautical, which is very simple. In aerospace, so in aeronautical, you have only aircraft and helicopters. Technically, the ones that go up to a height of around 12 kilometers. After that, we have spacecraft, rockets, and missiles. So when you add these three, it becomes aerospace engineering. But there are some institutes in the country which focus only on space technology. So there are good colleges available at a undergraduate level as well as at the master's levels. Okay, so see the information regarding which is a good, like already there is one question in the chat window by Purva Shah asking which are the good UG colleges for aerospace engineering. So I will answer this question in a few minutes because I am myself an aerospace engineer with an undergraduate degree. So space technology on its own is also a subject, and as there are colleges which focus on that. But most of the good colleges, they have aerospace sector where they teach you both of it. Right. So first, let me answer the question by Purva Shah about which are the good undergraduate colleges for aerospace engineering. I will give you a very simple mantra, very simple formula to decide or identify which is a good college. In our country, a very simple indication of goodness is the difficulty level of getting inside. Okay. So if there is any institute which says that despite having 60% marks, 50% marks, we will admit you to our college, then it is not good. Simple. The place where entry is very difficult in proportion to the difficulty level is the goodness level. Simple. Okay. So don't get carried away by very beautiful air conditioned buildings or very modern hostel accommodation, or by good look, or having an aircraft parked in the campus. That doesn't make you a good aerospace engineer. Okay, I know it helps, it is good to have an aircraft in your campus, but it is not necessary. What is important is, do you have proper qualified faculty? So now how will you make out as a student? Because they are very good in marketing. They will present in front of you many fantastic information. They will say we have 100% placement. Many of them are false statements. So what you have to do is you have to find out how difficult it is for me to get into this institution. If it is difficult, that institute is good. If it is easy, that institute is not good. Very simple. So the most difficult places in the country for undergraduate admissions are the IITs. As you know, you need to clear JEE Advanced and get a decent rank. So there are 4 IITs. My IIT is Bombay, then Kanpur, Madras, and Kharagpur. Only these 4 IITs have an aerospace engineering undergraduate program, and IIT Hyderabad has started a program called as Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. So these are the only 4, or I would say 5 places where you can say that I am going to an IIT and I'm getting a proper aerospace engineering education. Apart from this, there are some colleges which come under the Government of India. There is one called as Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh. There is one called as MIT in Madras, not in Pune. Don't get confused. This is Madras Institute of Technology in Krompet, Chennai. These are the 2 institutes I know which are offering an aeronautical or aerospace engineering degree based on the JEE main score and your performance in the school. Then there is one dedicated institute made by the Department of Space called as the Indian Institute of Space Technology. They also have an aeronautical engineering program, and that is located near Trivandrum in a place called Valiamala. Now, this is a very good institute because it is directly connected to ISRO. So what they do is they have around 120 seats for undergraduate program, and approximately 90 to 100 students who are in the top beyond a particular grade, they are directly given jobs in ISRO. So it's a fantastic place. You can get trained and you can learn from many ISRO scientists who come on deputation. Plus, if you do well and if you maintain your educational score, you are liable to get directly a job into ISRO. The best part for the parents is there is no fees being charged by the institute. The IIST is completely funded by Department of Space. So the parents only pay for the hostel and food charges. But if you refuse the ISRO job, then you have to pay back all the money spent on you, because this particular institute is especially meant for promoting scientists for ISRO. So they say that if you maintain a poor record and if you don't meet our requirement, or if you maintain a good record but we can't give you a job, it is fine. But if you are good and you are eligible to be given a job in ISRO, and then you refuse, then you better pay back the money that you have spent with no interest. So still it's a very good deal. And the topper of this batch is sent to California for a fully funded master's, MTech in Space Technology at California Institute of Technology. So it's a wonderful place to aim for. Their admission is based on the JEE advanced score. After this, I would say don't join any college. Do not go to any other college for undergraduate degree except 4 IITs, 5 IITs maybe. IIT Madras, IIT Hyderabad being an exception because it is mechanical and aerospace. So yes. So 4 IITs and the 5th IIT, and these 2 colleges, PEC and MIT in Chennai, and IIST of course. After this, don't go for undergraduate degree to any college. Instead, go to a good college for doing a mechanical or electrical engineering degree, and then you can do your master's in aerospace engineering, and then you can pursue a career. But do not go to any half-baked college which is trying to lure you only because of your excitement and your passion. I always say that 2 people in our country have greatly influenced youngsters to become aerospace engineers, Dr. Abdul Kalam and Dr. Kalpana Chawla. Because of that, every boy wants to become an aerospace engineer and every girl wants to become an aerospace engineer. But unfortunately, many colleges, they use their name or they use their background to lure you into a trap, and they fleece your money. Now, I don't want to name anybody here, but any student ever has a doubt about whether I should go or not, I will share my email address with you. I will share my phone number also with you. I am available to guide and clarify to you. Okay, so that is a very long answer for a very short question, but I wanted to say it that way. There are a few other questions about Ajay Mishra wants to know, are there companies, job opportunities in private sector in the area of aerospace tech? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because there are many companies, many foreign companies like Airbus, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Rockwell Collins, you name them, they have opened their shop in India, in Bangalore. But the kind of jobs that they are giving are very low quality jobs. Okay, they are giving you jobs which are not worth to be done by their own foreign counterparts. So they are dumping those jobs to India. Okay, some of them are also doing little bit of R&D, but mostly when you go and join there, you realize that you are basically going to be given low quality jobs, and you are not going to be given the real technical challenges. Okay, so the answer is yes, but the answer also is no, that I don't think that these jobs are really very good. After initial excitement of 2-3 months, you come to know that you are basically doing either IT or back-end jobs or very low quality processing jobs. You will be running a computer program. They will give you the program. They will say, we can't give the details to you, but you have to run the code in the morning, get the result in the evening, and make a report and submit. I mean, how much excitement can you get from that after 3-4 months? So be careful. Again, don't get carried away. We are there to advise you. How about having UG done here in India and masters in UA for aerospace? Purva Shah, yes, you can do that. Okay. But my suggestion to you is, first you exhaust the best available option in the country. So if you cannot get into IIT for a BTech, like I also could not get through IIT. I tried 2 times as a student. I could not get into IIT as a BTech student. Doesn't matter. I went to Punjab Engineering College for a undergraduate degree in aeronautical engineering. At that time, I had no idea about aeronautical engineering. It was the last seat available to me, and I was the last candidate, so I got it. But then I went for masters to IIT Madras, and for my PhD, I went abroad to UK for a masters in Cranfield University on a scholarship. So there is nothing wrong in going out, but first explore the best option available in the country, which is the 4 IITs. If you cannot get into BTech, doesn't matter. You can come for MTech, because we take about 40 people every year for MTech in each of the IITs, 40, 50 people. So please come for MTech. And then if you feel that, no, I want to go abroad, by all means, you can go abroad if you feel like. Anirudh has a question. How many percent, okay, I'm sorry. My time is a problem. Okay, sorry. So I would like to stop now. Let the organizers take over.
Yeah, we can I can send you the rest of the questions, and probably if students have more questions, they can just email to Click to School. So thank you, Professor Pant, for such great insights into aerospace engineering, and I think most of the IIT aspirants, they are interested in this field. So thanks a lot. So now we'll move on to our next speaker. He is Rajesh Kumar. So Rajesh, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, so great. So let me first introduce Rajesh to you. So Rajesh did his bachelor's in computer science and engineering from IIT Varanasi, BHU, and his master's in computer science from UCSB in California, USA. He worked in very small and big companies over the last 17 years of his career, and currently he is working as an engineering manager at Google Cloud. So today, Rajesh is going to talk about careers beyond coding in tech industry. It's kind of intuitive from a software engineer like Rajesh, but we are very interested in knowing what Rajesh has to share. Rajesh, it's all yours. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Jay. And hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Jay, can you please let me share the screen?
Yes. Yes, you can do it now.
Cool. Thanks. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Cool. So yeah, hello everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. So today I'm going to talk about career beyond coding in tech industry. So thanks for the wonderful introduction, Jay. So I will start with just a regular disclaimer. The views presented here are my personal views and does not represent my employer. So let's get that out of the way. And yeah, so I will just start with a designer, right? So usually when we think about tech industry, we think about coding and programming, that we have to do coding and programming all the time. But if you see the tech industry, there are many roles which doesn't require coding on a day-to-day basis. So I'll just go through some of those roles, what they are, and what are the degrees available to get into such roles. And please feel free to ask any questions. This is more of a discussion. So I will start with a designer. So designer is a person who understands the user and the problem they're solving, and how the product will look and feel, how people will use it, and how they will interact with it. So usually the designers, they have degrees in design, which is like interaction, graphic design, visual communication, or product or industrial experiences, or human computer interaction, or user experience. These are some of the degrees like you can do as an undergrad, like various IITs and like other triple IITs do offer those. So that's one of the roles, the designer. Moving on to the next role, which is the user experience researcher. So user experience researcher is a little bit closer to a designer, but This role is more about doing some research for user experience. So what they do is like, they conduct user research sessions where they will let them use the product and see how they play with it, how they interact with it, and get their feedback from using that product. And what they will do is prepare this detailed documents from those findings. And these are really useful things which will help the companies improve their products, right? Like how a particular email program or how a website or how application is being used, and how can we improve it over the time. So the relevant degrees here are computer science, again, human computer interaction, cognitive sciences, learning sciences, statistics, and psychology. So moving on to the next role, which is called product manager. So product manager are people who will define the vision of the product, like what are we trying to do, what are we solving. They understand the problem domain pretty well. They have a vision what the product is going to do and what problems should be prioritized. They work closely with designers, UX engineers, and the product roadmap. Relevant degrees for the product manager are computer science, electrical engineering, related technical field, or equivalent practical experience. I have also seen a lot of people in the industry who have done their MBA and then they become a product manager as well. But MBA is by no means a requirement. The next role is program manager. It does sound very similar to the product manager, but it is a different role. Program manager are more into things like organizing big teams to deliver projects. So they will organize meetings, dependencies and deliverables. They will set up the project timelines and make sure that everyone is unblocked in doing what they're doing. Relevant degrees here are also pretty similar: computer science, electrical engineering, or any technical field. So as you can see, like, the degree, undergrad degree are pretty similar in all these roles, but the roles are pretty different. So just something to watch out for. Moving on to the next role, which is the DevOps or developer operations. So developer operation is a new role which kind of came into being in early 2000s. So this is a mixture of like, development and then operations. So DevOps role, they ensure that the product and systems are up and running and performing well. This may involve some coding, like, generally you want to automate some of the things and like, you would like to automate them through coding. So this might involve some of the scripting languages, but it's not the majority of the role. The relevant degrees are similar here as well, which is CS, engineering, software engineering, IT, or related fields. Moving on to the next role, which is the sysadmin. So sysadmin are responsible that the systems are running well in the production. The systems have right capacity to serve the users. They will mitigate issues and then make sure that the product is up and running and being like, useful to everyone. So the relevant degrees are also similar here, which is information technology, computer science, or related discipline. So next role is the database admin. So database admin, they have deep technical knowledge on some database and particular flavors like Cassandra, Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, and they do day-to-day maintenance and reliability of the systems. They do performance tracking, disaster recovery, etc. Our relevant degree is also pretty similar: computer science and IT and related discipline. The next role is the SRE, which is Site Reliability Engineer. This is combination of sysadmin and DevOps roles. They make sites more reliable, efficient, and scalable. They do on-call monitoring, performance and capacity planning, and disaster response. Relevant degrees are here similar, like computer science, related field, and also they have deep experience with Unix or Linux operating systems, internal file systems, networks, etc. The next role is little different, which is sales engineer. They work closely with the sales team and customers to come up with integration of the product with customers' products. This might involve some scripting as well, but that's not the majority of the role. Is to understand the product and how it works, and also the customer requirements. Relevant degrees are pretty similar to other roles I'm explaining here as well. The next role is the customer support engineer. They handle customer issues and troubleshoots. They will mitigate issues, and they will work with the engineering team to resolve bugs. And some of these engineers are really technical, actually. Like, they will really dive deep into things and try to understand what's going on. Um, and they're pretty experienced as well. And the relevant degree is pretty similar to other roles I talked about. So these are some of the roles which I have, and probably I will stop here and take some questions.
Thank you, Rajesh, for such great presentation about diversity in computer science, the field of computer science. Yeah, we have a few questions from the audience. First is Viral, who is asking, so people switch role after joining company, or they are hired for the job from the beginning?
That's a very good question. So it is a little bit of both. So I have seen people who join in one role, and then they they join as an engineer, and they feel like, I want to try out the product manager role or like sales engineer role. So it is very possible that people join as engineer, but they switch into other roles. But I've also seen people who are directly hired into those roles also. So it depends on the industry, and so I think there is a little bit of that as well. And the good thing is, like, when you understand technology, you can move around pretty easily into different roles and see, try out what you like. So that's pretty much possible.
Yeah. There's another person who is asking, what's the best advice you will give if somebody wants to be in the Silicon Valley? Like, what's the best route, colleges and education, and what is more beneficial, studying in India or abroad?
That's a very good question as well. So I would say that, getting degrees, undergrad degrees from top colleges, that's pretty important. Like IITs, triple IITs, and IITs. I think those are really good. And it doesn't need to be in computer science. Actually, you can get degrees in electrical, electronics, or other like engineering as well. And you can always join an industry. So there are multiple ways of getting to Silicon Valley, right? So one is you can join an industry there, like, software company in India, and like get really good experience and be really good at what you do. And then you can move around and get the job you like. Other ways, like, you do your master's or PhD in the US, like you can do GRE and apply for master's, get scholarship, and come here, do your degree and get the job that way. So there are multiple ways of doing it. Like, yeah.
Okay. And another question is that why do we need a degree in computer science or IT if we don't need coding for these jobs?
That's a really great question. So yeah, thanks for that. So the question is like, why do we need degree in computer science or ID if it is not coding? So all of these roles I talked about, they do require deep understanding of technology, how technology works, right? Customer support engineer or even designer or product manager. Like one of the requirements is one should understand how really the technology works, like how computers work, how the data is stored, how interaction works. To get that understanding, like I know getting that degree through either degree is one thing, you can also do through experience. So I've also seen people who don't have degrees but they're really good. But I think degree does help, like initially, to really understand the technology from different areas. So degree is just not coding, right? You get to understand the technology really deep, and that really helps you throughout your career. But by no means, it's not the only way. Like, there are multiple ways of getting into the industry and proving yourself. I've seen really people who are musicians and whatnot, and they're really good at what they do. But they have to also work hard at what really they have worked hard over the years to get that knowledge. So yeah, both are
So
possible.
I will take
Mhm.
a couple of more questions. One question is from Khush Gandhi. He's asking if we do higher studies from USA, is it beneficial to come back to India and get a job, or somebody should stay outside?
So I would say that's more personal preference. Like, what works for you is the best, right? Like, so there are different aspects, right? Like your personal situation, your family, like, what you like to do. So I think I would say that, it depends on very what you want to do really. Like, you want to, yeah, work in India, work in here. Yeah.
Yeah, one personal question from me is how do salaries compare for these different fields? Are they similar or very varied?
Yeah. That's a good question on very good question. So I think the starting salaries are pretty comparable of this all these different roles I talked about. And one thing I would mention is like, the salary will depend on how good someone is, how like, someone progresses through their career. So choosing a role which you like and really becoming good at it. I think that's more important for salary than like, choosing any particular role.
Okay. And as you see that the world is being dominated by AI, like more and more, so which field one should select so that he is not affected by like AI growth?
Right. I think that's a really great question too. So, AI is taking over the world, right? So I think all maybe some roles are more less prone to AI, like, onslaughter than other roles. I would say like anything to do with people or like, working with different people, like product management, program management, or like, people management. Those roles, even like, designer, I think those roles are really soft skills. I don't think the AI would be able to take over those. But I think we are, to be honest, I personally feel far away from AI taking over any technical roles. Like, yeah.
Okay, one last question. Like these two roles are very different. Like one is like people management, and the other one is like like hands-on experience. So how do you compare these two different kinds of role when like somebody needs a similar background, but the roles are so varied? So how do you compare these two kind of experiences?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have also like, I joined the industry as a hands-on engineer and like got into the technical leadership and then management role. The good thing is like, you can try and move around things. So like you can try one role, see how you like it, and you can try the other role and see how you like that, right? And then what works for you, I think that's more important. I think every role is important for the industry. So like, you should do what you like, in my opinion, and think that's more important.
Okay, I think thank you, Rajesh. I think we have more questions, but probably we can send you questions later. You can answer them personally. Thanks a lot. Uh,
Oh, thank you.
so, so our next speaker is Sandeep Verma. Sandeep, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sandeep is currently head technology at Thies Mining Services. He is a graduate from IIT Kharagpur and he has an MBA from SP Jain Institute of Management and Research. Uh, and as you know, like Thies is a world leader, like world's largest mining services provider. So Sandeep is going to talk about his experiences in Thies and core sector, and he will shed some light on the value of core sector for the future of technology. So Sandeep, you can go ahead. I will make you a co-host.
Okay. Okay. So now can I share my screen?
Yes, you can do that now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Before I jump into my boring, presentation, I would like to wish you all happy Dashera, and also I wish you a safe, healthy, and happy season ahead.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So perhaps compared to previous two presentation, my presentation is a bit of digression, so to say, because I'm not specifically talking about career growth for a mining engineer in a sector, but what I felt being from a core sector right from the day I graduated, how a person who has been deeply working in the core sector can trudge through the career growth and then reach to the you can say ultimate goal of success. That is something I could dwell upon, having worked in this industry for last 15 years. So if you look into the very first thing which you talk about, an engineer, the moment you are selected as an engineer to study an undergraduate course, it fulfills, it proves something to the world. And those qualities are: you are logical, you are analytical, you are good at number crunching. These are the three basic traits which actually describe an engineer. When you undergo through your undergraduate course, you acquire technical skills. Hence, that is the fourth skill which you acquire when you complete your undergraduate course. So we should always be aware about these qualities, because you are going to utilize these three skills throughout your career. If you utilize these skills properly, there is no stopping in your career growth in whichever field you are, be it non-core job, be it core job. Specific to a core job, if you look into various functional domains where people grow, or as a career they take it as, like finance, human resource, marketing, but it is operations which forms the core of every activity. If there is no production, no operations, there is nothing to sell. If there is no operations, there is no human resources. No operations, no selling, no revenue, no profit, nothing. So operations form the core part of any business operations, and core job hence becomes critical, or you can say it's the heart of operations. Now, when we talk about operations, is it mean only taking care of operations, producing, putting in the raw material, do some types of some type of transformation, and then give the output? No, it's not limited to that. I will take you through some of the interesting aspects related to operations, which forms the part of core job. So there are various types of, you can say, notions about the core jobs, which actually deter people to get into the core sector. Now, when I joined mining engineering department, we were 15 guys, and everyone was, you can say, averse to joining the core sector. And as the time went by, the final year, when we reached to the final year and then campus placement season started, it had become a big monster for us, and everyone wanted to join IT sector or wanted to go for higher studies. And I was the only guy who got placed in core sector. And believe me, first a couple of years, I also wanted to run away from it. But somehow the situation didn't let me run away. And today, I really don't repent. In fact, I feel very happy to stick to this job, or whatever situation forced me to do, because the decision was good and I have achieved something which I can feel proud of. So some of the notions which deter people from getting into core jobs are: they feel that it's not lucrative, you don't get very good packages. People say that you only require technical skills to get into core job. There is no, you can say, zeal in terms of delivering the work. It becomes a boring stuff, so to say. It's a blue collar job in today's world, which is like uh, something which makes people to put on very classy dresses and sit in very penthouse based offices and high rise buildings. They feel that blue collar job is something which is defined by your core sector. Then core sector has very poor growth or poor career growth compared to other sectors. These are the notions people carry. Are these notions true? I will dwell on all these four areas pretty quickly and try to dispel off all the wrong notions about this. First one, as I said, that not lucrative. Now, from my experience, what I have seen, that I have tried to draw the, you can say, packages of the guy who starts his career in core sector and grows in it, and then someone who starts his career in non-core sector, and how his growth trajectory generally look like. If you look into first 3 to 4 years, definitely you will have to play on your skills, but ultimately the skill which you have got during those 4 years which comes handy, and definitely you should play on that. Yes, at the start the salary of core guys are on the lower side compared to non-core guys. But it's a matter of 8 to 10 years. See, career is a long marathon race. You can see between 8 to 10th year, the salary of core sector guys surpasses non-core guy. Now it is in that stage you have to take a decision how you are going to take it forward. Are you going to play it as a 2020 or a test match? Okay, now there is one aspect people don't pay much attention to is the facilities which are provided by core sector guys, core sector companies. Things like accommodation, LTA, medical facilities, holiday packages are absent in non-core jobs, but it is present in core jobs, which translates into a lucrative CTC. If you look into, one second now. Only technical skills, people say only technical skills are used. But if you look into various aspects related to operations, not only you will be working on day-to-day production management, but you need people management skills, which actually prepares you for future leadership role. Your skills to communicate clearly, how you are going to articulate the message to let the work happen in a proper way with least amount of disruption. There are concepts of job rotation. There are various aspects in manufacturing value stream where you can look into things like quality management. You can look into supply chain management, cost control, material planning, productivity analysis. So there are a lot many things. It's not the only technical skills which is going to be used by you. Moving on to next. Again, people say that a core job is a blue collar job. It's not true. It's hardly for initial 2 to 3 years where your maximum amount of work will be shop floor job. But once you have crossed that 3 to 4 years, there will be lots of work related to business planning, productivity planning. As I said, you get exposure to various modern operations tools if you are working on core jobs like TQM, TPM, theory of constraints, Six Sigma. Few minutes back, Professor Pant was speaking about aviation industry being the safest mode of transportation, where the number of accidents is much lesser than even road transportation. It's the outcome of the one of the studies on Six Sigma, because aviation industry operates at something around 10 sigma, which is a way to calculate how safe any industry is, how good the quality of that industry is, and how, these things can be pretty much well understood by operations guy. There are there are many good aspects related to it. Some says that there is poor growth in career. It's not that. It's a long marathon race, and if you are sticking to industry for 8 to 10 years, you are going to reap big benefit in the industry. You are going to grow faster than your friends who are working in non-core. That is what I have learned. Now, one of the interesting aspect which I have seen from the guys my friends who are working in IT sector, the moment after 10th year of their you can say work in that industry, they have to transition into a manager. Same applies to these core sector guys also. Now, it is where the game becomes very difficult for those who are in IT industries. IT industries don't need so many managers. And then people face mid-career crisis in IT sector. You must have heard about lots of retrenchment happening in IT sector. It's because of that, because company don't need so many managers. After 10 years, if you are still continuing with like programming and all, there are fresh guys who are having 5 years of programming who are equally good, and they can do the good job with new skills which they have acquired. Company would prefer that guy to you because the company is getting a good return on investing on that guy. And this is a problem the IT guys are facing who have crossed 10 years of experience. So one has to understand, one has to transition into managerial role if they want to grow. Now in core sector, people, as you said, someone may say that overgrowth is something people are facing in core sector. So I have example, having worked in Tata Steel, I have seen one of the metallurgists from IIT Chennai who started his career like me as graduate trainee in Tata Steel, and he ultimately retired as managing director of Tata Steel. His name is B. Muthuraman. Similarly, his successor, Mr. Nerurkar, who was MD after him, was a metallurgist from Pune. So there are growth opportunities. If you are really dedicated in your work, you will definitely reap more benefits compared to non-core sector role. So why I am putting so much of thrust into core jobs? Because ultimately it's the manufacturing sector which is going to play a key role for a growing economy like India. It is said that in next 5 years, the contribution of manufacturing sector in GDP would grow from 16% to 20%, which is going to be a main key driver of country's growth, which is possible only when you are employing people in this sector. So there are going to be lots of employment opportunities in core jobs, and we should not, took our eyes off it. So in order to strengthen someone's view or someone's zeal to start or make a career in core sector, I would like to take example of my life, how it has been throughout my career. I have worked in mining sector, started as graduate trainee as B. Muthuraman has started, worked for 1 year went through training, started, then continued with operations role, handled a large team of 130 people for 2 years, which really helped me in understanding people's management skills. Then I did MBA, again in operations management, to understand tools and techniques which can come handy in terms of improving the operations. Again, went back to mining industry. This time my role was different. I started evaluating projects because I was well equipped to understand manpower scheduling, equipment scheduling, the amount of investment required. So I started studying project profitability, which helped me in analyzing and then visiting overseas countries to see the mines which can be acquired for our promoting companies.
Hello, Sandeep. Thanks, Sandeep.
So I was those my skills, jumped into mining and power sector are interlinked. Power sector actually lives on coal supply. So again, I expanded my span of experience from mining to power sector also. There I again got exposure in preparing corporate strategy plan, growth plan for organization, turnaround. There were a couple of companies which were ailing with losses and all. We formulated turnaround plans for those organizations. There was a company who wanted to enter into India market in mining. We designed a market entry plan for them. We did benchmarking study on performance of key organization to see where they stand. Are they in top 25 quartile or bottom 25 quartile? What they can do to reach to top 25 quartile? We did diagnostic study of coal supply for NTPC, which imports coal, which gets coal from domestic supply also. So these were very interesting work which we did, and we interacted with government agencies, private companies. So those were some good exposure. And then ultimately, currently at this moment, I'm heading technical services department of Thies. So it's quite an exciting journey. Being a core sector guy, I feel my journey has been quite fruitful and satisfying. So that's what I wanted to convey to you all. Don't be averse to core sector. There are lots of opportunities. You can become a consultant. You can become a good, you can say, project evaluator. You can become a good operations guy. There are lots of various opportunities available in core sector itself. And trust me, if you have spent 5-6 years in this industry, your value in the industry will be much more than what your counterparts are feeling their value in their sector. So that's it from me. So if there is anything anyone wants to know,
Yeah, thank you,
I'm
Sandeep.
ready to say. Yeah.
It was such a valuable insight into the future of core sector. We all have started to feel that core sector has started to pick up, and I think most of us should, like most of the students should consider thinking away from IT and like software-based job and look into the core sector as well. So it's a great
Yeah.
option. And being a mining engineer myself, I would tell you that it's a great thing to learn about core sector. It's a very different experience.
Yeah.
So
So
we
one thing
have,
I'd like to add, Jay, sorry to interrupt, is that during this COVID, mining is one of the sector which remain unaffected because it has been categorized as most essential goods. So it is one of the sector which remained unaffected.
yep, yeah. Okay, so we have a few questions. So one is from Priya. She's asking, as a society, why do we look down upon blue collar jobs? Shouldn't that be a part of any studies so that the person is not alienated from practical knowledge? Isn't lack of practical knowledge the reason for poor R&D in our country?
I feel it's more about people looking for shortcuts to growth, but ultimately, as I said, career is a marathon race, not a T20 game. So one has to look into that. Initially, people also used to, you can say, laugh at me, not so disparagingly, but they used to feel that I am working in mining sector. I myself used to loathe my sector. So problem lies with the guy who are already in that sector. So if someone is actually spreading the bad name for any sector, is the guy who is working in that sector itself. So somewhere we were to blame. But when we explore the opportunities, when we know where is my ultimate goal is, you feel very confident of making it happen. If you are not clear about your vision, where you want to reach, you loathe that type of role and all. So it's like making oneself aware about the career path related to core job also. And once that happens, people will stop talking about that.
So one thing that I think a lot of students are interested in knowing is how one should plan his or her career after engineering. Like, what are the good or bad things about doing MBA after engineering? Or I think you have done your MBA after engineering, so I think probably you can answer this question better.
See, if you are working in core sector, perhaps initial experience in core sector helps you in understanding almost, you can say, 80 to 90% of the aspects related to MBA. Now, what happens when you work in a sector for 2 to 3 years or maybe 4 years? You have handled the operations. You have handled various aspects related to managing people, various aspects related to cost management, various aspects related to improving the revenue. One of the year-end appraisal, my boss said your production didn't increase much last year. So I simply came up with a mind, one calculation, because engineers are good in calculation. I told them, look, we are producing this many tons of coal, and which is actually something around $100 million, and then our cost is only $50 million. We are making at the end of the year $50 million as a profit to the company. Okay, so one has to understand those aspects related to this. So I didn't limit myself to the operations, but I wanted to relate it with the business aim, where the business people actually focus on. So once you go through those churning of 3 to 4 years, and then you join some MBA college, you would be able to connect the dots. You will start thinking how you could have made those operations, those processes better. Your insight becomes very strong, and then again when you join back same industry, your demand will be like anything, because you are well equipped to handle different types of management problems now.
Okay. Thank you, Sandeep. I think that's all the question we'll take
Yeah.
from you. Thanks a lot for such great
Yeah, thanks.
insight, and thanks. So if you go to click to school website, the first thing that you'll see is this page. That's a home page where you can see different career paths and various tracks that you can follow. So as I think most of you, like from grade 6 to 12, like most of you are aspiring for JEE or NEET. So these two tracks are most popular, where like whether you choose to be a JEE aspirant or a NEET aspirant. Like you can choose like any of these tracks, or like I think you can like even choose like multiple track. So I think at this stage, probably from grade 6 to 12, think many of you are not sure whether you want to become an engineer or a doctor. So you can probably study like engineering, I think mathematics, and at the same time you can like pursue biology. And at like grade 11 or 12, you can like choose what like track to pursue. So if you have chosen J track, like in the J track, you will see these options. We have J mathematics, J physics, and J chemistry. And for each of these categories, we have we have different kinds of tests. So like we have some practice tests, and every week we release new tests that you can take. So here you can see that in the first column we have new tests, which are the new tests we'll be releasing every week like for you. And it will be these tests will be designed by the best faculties in India, and it will be really beneficial for you if you do it in a very timely manner. All these tests are free of cost. Like so like so just go ahead. I think you can get started as soon as possible. The second track is, yeah, we have missed the NEET track. Yeah, so this is the NEET track where we have the option for biology, chemistry, and physics. We don't have mathematics here. If you want to do mathematics, you have to enroll in the JE track. So similar to the JE track, we have new tests and some practice tests here. So the new test will be launching every week, as I said before, and the practice test will be the previous test and some practice tests that the faculty members at Click to School will be providing you. So at Click to School, we have top class faculties. So all these tests are being designed and developed by top like faculties who are IITians themselves, and they have like more than 15 years of experience in the IIT JEE and NEET coaching industry. We'll be introducing them to you slowly through the Click to School website. But for now, you can explore Click to School website, and you can explore various tests, practice tests, and time tests, and see like how you feel about all these tests. Like I'm sure that it's going to help you greatly in improving your like testing skills. So after you enroll in all these tracks from the homepage, you would be able to log into your dashboard. For this, you need to create an account using your name, phone number, email address, etc. Like I have done here. And after you log in into your account, you will see a dashboard. That the dashboard has all the tracks that you registered to. So here, like I have, like you can see that I have registered for Mindex and IIT. So after you register for the track, you'll be able to see all the new tests and practice tests in that track. So here, all the tests that I'm seeing is for the J track, and all the practice questions are also for the J track. So you can just go ahead and do the time test and adaptive test for any of these tests. So these are the features that we'll be releasing shortly. So the most important feature for on which the whole Click to School is based is AI-based adaptive learning. Like our Mindex was like AI-based, and we'll be launching similar model for IIT JEE and NEET test. And we expect to launch these adaptive testing in a week. And we'll be announcing, like we'll be informing you through email about the launch of the AI-based testing. So the most important thing about AI-based testing is it can like modify its level, or it can get used to your own level. Like if you are an average student or a good student, the AI-based testing will provide you with tests that are at your level. So you don't need to worry about like the test, the questions that are not relevant to you. So suppose you are a weak student, and like every day, if you like try to solve very difficult question, then it is kind of like it's going to throw you off like over a period of time, and you won't learn anything. So, and on the other hand, if you are a bright student, you will end up wasting a lot of money if you follow like regular books or like other coaching websites. You waste a lot of time doing like weak questions which are not relevant to you. So through AI-based testing, you will be solving the questions that are relevant to you, that are of your level, so that you can improve your level quickly. So this is the feature that we are currently working on, and it should be there as soon as possible. And we'll be informing you this to you. The second feature is the live discussion. As I mentioned, that we have world-class faculties like working at Click to School. Soon you will be able to interact with them. Soon you will be able to talk to them, ask your doubts, and they will be holding a live question and answer discussion session with you. And this feature should be there soon as well. I think it's almost there. We are refining it a little bit more, and it should be there in a week or two. And like one of the most important feature that we are building is real coding, which will be based on Python. So in like recently, you must have heard that we have there are lots of controversies going on in India on the kind of coding we teach to kids. So we have developed a real Python coding from grade 6 to 12. So it will be applicable for students of grade 6 to 12. And the course has been designed by a software engineer in working in Silicon Valley. So I assure you that that really it's the most important thing you need to learn if you want to make a career as a computer engineer in future, or if you want to learn how software development works. Like almost everything in Silicon Valley is being done in Python these days, and Python is the single most popular language in the world as of now. So we expect to roll this course on October 31st. We'll be rolling it on week by week basis. So every week we'll be launching one module, and with the module, there'll be a set of quizzes and assignments. You'll be able to find this track on Click to School soon. Okay, so this is all about Click to School. I demonstrated all the current feature and the features that will be there soon. So stay connected with us. And to do that, please like us on Facebook, and stay connected with us through the website and through Facebook. If you have questions, send us email through Gmail, and we'll get in touch with you. We'll be there to take any question anytime. So feel free to solve all your doubts with us. Yeah, thank you. So is Akhil, is Dr. T.N. Singh here?
Jai, I'm not able to connect with him. So we can just announce once if he is there. T.N. Singh, sir, are you there?
Yes, Akhil, I am very much available.
Welcome, sir. Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Yes.
afternoon.
Okay, sir, can we see your video? Yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let me introduce Dr. T.N. Singh first, so that, and then Dr. T.N. Singh can take over. So Dr. T.N. Singh needs no introduction among many of the IITians. He's currently a Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Kasi Vidyapeeth. He had been a professor of Earth Science at IIT Bombay, and he had been to IIT Varanasi as well. He is also serving as an independent director of HPCL. He has authored and co-authored more than 300 papers in national and international journals. And he is a recipient of numerous awards and accolades, notably National Mineral Award. So Dr. T.N. Singh, it's all up to you now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I must congratulate Jay and Akhil for giving me this opportunity to interact with these students. I can say this many old students to whom I have heard today through this webinar. Another congratulations for this CareerCon 2020. You have initiated in a very nice and lucid manner. I think while going through the presentation by the various researchers as well as professional, I can say everybody is talking about the career path. But what I found, most of them has explained the job path, not the career path. I think the career and job is entirely a different phenomena and different ball game. In job, yes, you can change the job, but you have a career should be the long-term planning. And many a times you choose a job which kills your half of the time to hunting for the career. So I request all the students, participants particularly, the younger one, that try to choose a career which can give you the pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness rather than giving some more money, some more dollar, and you are just running behind this dollar. That will not give the satisfaction. And that is the reason why I feel that in spite of getting a lot of money, people are not satisfied with their career. Why? If the money is everything, then why they are not satisfied? They're satisfied when they can do something which they want from their inner heart, from their inner mind, and what they have thought in this early stage of their thinking. So that will be things we always remember. Yes, there are tools and techniques which are available to strengthen your path in a right direction. We need some kind of this career counsel who can give you some amount of the input by which you can grow in this nice manner. So these are the things I think one should always remember. So always remember that this self-discovery is a heart, and it is required unconditional acceptance and discovery your passion. So that things students should always remember. Be competitive, be career oriented. It always preferable. But a right person is sometimes required to guide you that how you can grow in this career, which can give you more satisfaction of yourself, as well as I think they are the person who are serving the society in a very dedicated manner. So this Jay and Akhil, you have started this vision of this your CareerCon, that those who are little bit deviating from their path in terms of searching a right career, I think you people are experienced enough with your, you can say this multi-dimensional approach of this problem which you have thought in earlier. That will always give some kind of, you can say, ingredient within the students' mind that they can think in the right direction. Yes, being a only engineer will be not be the career. Not become an engineer is also not a good career. So career is something which is related to the characteristic of a person. I know many of your friends also, they have become a mining engineer, but later on they become a writer. They are a script writer. Many of them have not at all gone to this their respective field of own discipline, and they have chosen a different, you can say this job path. But yes, if you have the passion, you can succeed in your career. If you have only the fashion, then you may get a more salary or less salary, and compare how much this package one is getting, another is getting. So I request all the youngsters, better don't worry about the package. You more worried about what is your passion, and you can live with that passion. Because people say, if you want to understand anything, you can sleep and dream over it. Then only you can understand. So if you have some career, some mission, you should have a very, very good vision. Then you have the mission, and then you have the action. Says that if you have this vision and mission, you have the 50% success. But if you have the action, then nobody can stop you to achieving a certain heights in your life. Height in the life doesn't relate it to this economic sustainability or economic strength. It depends upon how big you are in your field, in your idea, and what kind of the action you are taking on. So I think this CareerCon, these people having a lot of experience in their academic field, their industrial field, their management skill, and they are these highly educated people. They achieve a higher degree from very respectable university. They are all have come together and help these students, particularly the Indian students who wants to pursue their career in the different fields of their life. It may be the engineering, it may be the software, it may be this management. It is your choice. You can take a choice, but always remember that until unless you cannot enjoy the work, you cannot grow further. You cannot think independently. You cannot be a creative. So being a creative, and that words has been now replaced the skill. So a skill, I think the degree is on the back bench now. Now the skill is coming on the front page. So how perfect you are in your profession, that will be, I think, yield as some kind of fruits which will be sweet for you and sweet for the society. So Jay and Akhil, once again I congratulate you. I have seen the Jay face after a few decades after that, so a lot of change, but still I recognize his voice, which is always with the sweetness. So once again, both of you have a great day ahead in front of you, and you have chosen a very good social cause by which you can make many students in the career oriented rather than the job oriented. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and happy Dasara, because I am in Varanasi. So happy Dasara to everyone, either in the India or abroad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Happy Dasara to you too. We have a few questions. I hope you won't mind taking these questions.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So we had a lot of advice to students. Like for the last 2 days, we have been giving a lot of advice to students, but we need some advice for parents also, because students are dealing with social and family pressure a lot.
Yes.
And so please share your word of advice for parents.
I think my first advice to all the parents, let the student grow in their own strength rather than the dream which I have not achieved. One cannot enforce their words to achieve that, because that will be not as sustainable or not good for them. So let them play on their own strength wherever they have this passion. So guardians should always encourage and try to enhance the skill of a students in the area which he or she wants, so that they can excel the excellence after some time. Otherwise, it is a halfway cooked meal is always dangerous than either the raw or good food or good cook. So the students are now like this, that half of the dream they are carrying to their parents and half of their own dream they are carrying. So my advice to the parents, that don't enforce your dream to your word. Better let them there, they can live with their own dream.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Dr. Sir. It TN Singh sir, I was like seeing you after like so many years as well, and it's great seeing you. And I wish you all the best with your health and work. It's great to know that like you're vice chancellor in Varanasi now, and I hope that when I visit Varanasi next, I can meet you.
Sure. Most welcome. Most welcome, Jay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we will be announcing the winners of MindX. I think Dr. Singh sir was supposed to announce the winners. So do you have the list with you or?
Yes.
Okay.
So first, the congratulations to all those who have participated in this competition. And the competition is always not to the win. To participate is a first winning step in anybody's career. So I must congratulate all the participants in this competition. And let me announce this name. The first is Sakyang Kumar, who scored 87. So congratulations. Soham Chatterjee, the next, score 81. Ritna 74. Soham 71 score. Ankit Saha, the next winner. Then Basudev Agrawal, another winner. Vaibhav, Dhansri, Harsh, Siddhesh, Ria. So these are the, I think, list available with me. If anybody has a left, then Jay should announce it.
Yeah, I think that's all. We'll intimate the winners through email as well. So thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jay. And thank you, Akhil,
Thank you, sir.
for this wonderful job you are doing for the serving the society in the manner which is required today. Thank you very much. And my all the best wishes for the growth of your company. In the near future, we want to see that you can grow and grow and grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So, Professor Singh, before you go away, this is Professor Pant from. Right now, I am in Lucknow.
Namaskar.
So I am in Lucknow right now, not very far from you. It's a pleasure to hear you today talking to the students, and I think the students are lucky that they had the opportunity of interacting with a person of your stature. So very nice to see you after such a long gap, and I could not resist my temptation to say hello to you in person.
So it is my pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
And hope to see you soon. If you are in Lucknow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now that you are in Varanasi, I definitely want to visit and I would like to interact with your students.
Yes, definitely, sir. Most welcome, sir. Most welcome.
Okay.
Thank
you, everybody. Thank you, Akhil, and all the others who have invited me for today's interaction session.
Thank you, Pant sir.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
sir. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Before you go, I think so. I would like Akhil to close like CareerCon. He is the director of Click to School, so I will let him close CareerCon. Akhil.
The CareerCon has been one of the great speakers from US and India uh, spoke for the last 2 days, and the insights which I've got from the reviews which I've got from the students, that it has helped them a lot, and this is just the first year. Next year we'll make it bigger. The MindX test takers, I'll tell you that 5,000 students took the test. Out of this, we selected 10 students. So can I have the name, or who are the winners? Are they there?
Yeah.
Because because there must be some confusion. We have got email IDs. So if the winners are there, they can just let us know. Shakya, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So Shakya, these are the top 10 winners. Soham Chatterjee. You can tell your school name also. Shakya, which school?
Srimati Sulochana Devi Singhania School.
Okay, great. Soham Chatterjee, are you there? Congratulations to all the winners. Soham, are you there? Soham Chatterjee. Okay. Kirtana, are you there? Kirtana?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Okay, congratulations, Kirtana. Next, Soham Chaube, are you there? Soham Chaube, okay. Ankit Saha. Next, Vasudev Agarwal. Not there. Vibhav Singh. Vibhav, are you there? Dhanashri. Harsh. Siddhesh Amle. And Ria. So, with this, I'll end this CareerCon 2020. I'd like to thank Vimna USA for associating with school toppers. See, school toppers every year, like last year, we did a drone workshop at IIT Bombay. At school toppers, like I've been into the education field last 20 years. So at school toppers, we always go beyond the books. Like last year, we had a career drone workshop. This year, had COVID been not there, we would have been doing some experiments outside the classroom. So this year, we did on an experimental basis. We started with CareerCon, and this is a platform where you can get to interact with people across the world. Like yesterday, we had an interaction with Dr. Adria and Dr. Manik. Both of them are very famous in their own respective field. Today, we had a word with Pan sir, TN Singh sir, and Sandeep, Rajesh have shared their views. So these are people who are like been in their profession for last 20 years. When you get to know something of the real world, what they are telling you is the real world. See, when we become something like, when we, like these days counseling for IIT and NEET is going on. So I got a lot of calls that this is my rank and I want to become a chemical engineer because I like chemistry. Some disturbance at your end. Can you continue?
Yes, please continue, Akhil.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So when we love chemistry and we want to become a chemical engineer, altogether we have a different notion because we don't know what a chemical engineer is supposed to do. We were in love with organic chemistry and we ended up taking chemical engineer. We wanted to draw cars and we ended up taking mechanical engineers. So this is a platform where you get to know what, when you become a chemical engineer, when you become an aerospace engineer, what do you really get to know. This is a platform where you are getting an opportunity to just write a mail to all these eminent personalities and get your queries solved. So I hope this has helped all the students, and year on year we'll make it bigger and bigger. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Jay, you can just conclude and we'll end it.
Thank you everyone. Thank you Pan sir, thank you TN Singh sir, thank you Sandeep, thank you Rajesh, and thank you all the students for attending the CareerCon 2020. We hope to be associated with you for long term, and we hope to see you in the next CareerCon too. So if you have any doubt or any questions, shoot us a question and go and register on Click to School website. I'm sure you will benefit greatly from the website. It's free of cost, and there have been some question about Baiju and other stuff, but trust me, we are like not like considering them as our competitor. They are very like, I think they provide paid service, and probably their content is not up to mark these days, but we provide our service free of cost, and we have world class people associated with us, and trust us, like we are going to like provide you with very honest and true career advice in the long run. And I think through us you'll be able to practice your testing skill, develop your skills, and you'll learn a lot through all these world class teachers. Thanks a lot. Um, and from this I will conclude CareerCon 2020. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thanks Jay. Thanks Akhil.
Thanks all of you.
Thanks
Thank you.
Professor
Thank you.
Pant and
Thanks
Singh.
Sandeep. Thank you
Thanks.
sir Pant.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thanks.
TNC sir. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you very
Bye.
much and all the best to you.
Thank you sir.
Thanks sir.
Bye.
Bye bye.